Here on the diagnostics, you'll have to set up your flow meter IP. So I'm going to press diagnostics down here. Now I already have this set up. So where all this light blue is are flow meters that do not exist because I do not have that amount of rows. If I look at number 1 and number 2 here, right now they're green because these flow meters have already assigned their IP. These flow meters already know what rows they are responsible for. Down here, I'm going to press reset all addresses. These flow meters here are going to turn red on my screen, so now they are no longer assigned. I'm going to go out to where my flow meters are. I'm going to unplug them, and these 4-pin plugs, they only plug into the left side of the flow meter where the silver sticker is at. You will not plug into the right side of the flow meters. You will only plug into the left side of the flow meters. Here on the right side, and as you look at the flow meter here, you'll see how it's marked A, B, C, D, and then your next flow meter is the same way. On your screen here, it'll be set up as A, B, C, D. If you want to set it the other way, so row D would start as row 1, C would be row 2, and then B and A. Then you have your next set of flow meters where row 5 would be D, 6 would be C, and then 7 and 8. On the right side here, you'll press DCBA. You'll see your colors here will change real quick, knowing that it's reversing the order of the flow meters. And so now I want to plug in my flow meters. In this case, I'm going to plug in my first 4 rows. You'll wait about 3 to 5 seconds. You'll see it'll light up green on the screen. Now that this first flow meter is green, that tells me that my first flow meter has now been assigned its rows. I'm going to move on to my second flow meter now. I'm going to plug that in, rows 5 to 8. And now that flow meter has been assigned. Once all my flow meters are plugged in, I am good to go. I can go back home, and then I can run my pump system again. And then I can test to make sure that I'm putting out the correct amount of product. Now that your GX7 is set up and it's showing on the screen, go ahead on the right side here, hit the settings. And then up here, you'll have job name, field name, and acres. This is just for recording data. Here you'll have implement, put in the model of your implement. You'll have rows, put in the number of rows. In this case, I have 8 rows. For your spacing, I have 30 inches, put in what applies to you. Down here, you have your speed input. Since I'm on my test stand, I have a simulated speed of 5 miles per hour. But when you tap on that, GPS speed sensor, you would use that if you have our Astro 2 speed puck, or else you will use ground-based speed if you want to use the speed from your tractor. Press the next page. Number of products you'll put in if you have 1 product or if you have 2 products. In this case, I have 1. For product name, put in the name of your liquid. And then you have your alarm threshold upper and alarm threshold lower. Right now I have this set at 30%. So what that means, if I exceed 30% of over applying or under applying, then my GX7 will throw up an alarm telling me that I am either over applying or under applying. And that alarm will show up even if you are not on the virtual terminal, if you are not on the GX7 page. 30% is commonly what we set it to. If you want it more narrow or wider, then you can make those settings. Once you do that, you will press accept. Go back to home. You'll see your number of rows updated, or will have updated to the number of rows that you actually have. Up here on target GPA, put in the GPA target that you will be wanting to achieve. When you are actually using the system, your actual GPA will update to the actual gallon per acre that you are putting out. Your flow will show the actual gallon per minute that you are applying. And then your speed, in this case I have it simulated at 5 miles per hour, so that's what it's stuck at. But when you are actually driving, it'll update live with what you are actually driving at. In this case, you can see that all my rows are down to 0. That's because I'm technically reading speed, but I'm not reading a gallon per acre rate. So because of that, it's showing as 0. If I go and turn my pump system back on, you'll see how my rows here will start to update. Since right now I'm in the green, so I'm all good, I am within my threshold. You can see row 2 here is under applying a little bit, and looking at the sight glasses up top, you can see how row 1 I'm right on, row 2 I am under applying a little bit, and then the rest of the rows I'm about even. But looking back on the screen, you can see how my row 2 looks like I'm down a little bit. So here I'm gonna tap on my row 1. I can see right now my current flow in ounces per minute is 17 for row 1. I can press next for row 2. My current ounces per minute is 12.5 and 13. So I can watch that a little bit, see if I like it or not. Now I want to check row 3, which was about even with row 1. I see for its current ounces per minute, here we're at 17.5, so I know I'm all good. I can press home. I saw that row 8 looked like it was over applying a little bit, so I can tap on row 8. I'm marginally higher at 18 ounces per minute per row. For me, that's acceptable. So now I can see what that row is doing.